So one thing that I've been doing with my 8-figure business recently is focusing on making less profit, which might sound insane, but I want to kind of explore that idea and kind of explain why. And, something that like I've been doing recently is doubling down in my company and building lots of infrastructure, lots of systems, making lots of hires, and trying to build like a ton of infrastructure. And the thing about info businesses, the thing about agency businesses is obviously they're cash flow profit machines. The problem is these info businesses, like once you get to a certain point of scale, like if you want to get to the next point, you have to, your profit margin has to take a hit for a while, because like I can tell you from experience, like getting to like 800K a month, 700K a month is, you can do that with like one product and with like 100 grand a month in ad spend and like maybe like a 7-8 man sales team, right? But if you want to get to like 1.5, 2 mil a month or 3 mil a month and get to that sort of multi-eight figure mark, the amount your business has to basically, the complexity of your business has to kind of like triple. And this is what I found about like scaling my info business from like 800K a month, and I'm working on it now to try and get to like 1.5, 2 mil a month, right? The thing that I've realized is the amount of infrastructure required to make that leap is very, very insane. It's very severe. Like you need to start looking at like some of the things recently that I've been having to build in my company to make this happen. You have to build like build triage teams, and you have to build like call triaging teams. You have to build like very advanced like ad setting teams and like grade application grading teams as well. You need to build proper like client success manager teams, and you have like client success directing teams and stuff like that. You also need to build marketing teams. Like you need to have a CMO, like you need to have like a proper media buying suite, like a creative person, like video editing people. You need to have like a proper brand team. You need to have a proper sales management structure. You need to have like sales operations. Then you need to have a CRM structure as well, and someone to build that. Then you need like a COO effectively. You also then need to like manage your finances way better. Like the amount of infrastructure required to go from 8 figures to multi-8 figures is huge compared to going from 0 to 8 figures. And like it's mental, like how much you actually have to build. And it's fine because I'm here for it and I'm here to do it. But the thing about infrastructure and the thing about all these teams and the thing about all of these systems is you've got all these softwares that you've got to purchase, right? You've got like I'm talking like CRMs, advanced calendar scheduling softwares, like your Zap bill goes through the roof, your Hyros bill goes through the roof. Like the thing about all this infrastructure is you need people and you need softwares, and they cost a lot of money. And so what happens, and this is why most people never make it to the multi-8 figure mark. It's why you can probably count on 2 hands or maybe even 1 hand how many people in the info space have actually got to multi-8 figures, like actually got to like 2-3 mil a month. Like there's honestly like maybe like 5 or 6 of them, right, that I know of, at least maybe like 10 max. And the reason why that happens is because to get to the multi-8 figure promised land, you have to be willing to make very little profit for a significant period of time. Because think about it like this. Let me explain the sort of thinking process here. So when I lived in Dubai, I was making like 800K a month, 900K a month, right? 8-figure level. We were making like literally 400-500K a month profit. It was insane, like absolutely ridiculous, right? And so like I was in Dubai, I wasn't paying tax, so I was like banking all this tax-free cash. Like we made like huge millions and millions of money in tax-free cash. It was amazing. I then realized that like, in order for me to get to the next level, to feel that constant, because I've got this constant need for expansion. So in order for me to get to that next level, basically I was like, right, if I want to get to like, 1.5, 2 mil a month, like if I want to double the business here, which is kind of what we did. We doubled our business pretty much every single year for like 4 years straight. So, we from first year from like 0 to like 100K a month, and second year to like 250K a month, and the third year like 500K a month, and then it's like nearly $1 million a month. And this is the first year in company history where we haven't doubled the business. And the reason behind that is because I sat on profit way too long. And basically because I was in Dubai, I wasn't paying any tax. I wasn't like, I was just living this insane lifestyle, like tax free and everything. Like, I didn't want to give up those good profit months. And so what I would do is I just bank the profit, I wouldn't reinvest it. And so what we've done intentionally for pretty much 9 months now, maybe even like a year, is not care about profit. And this is why I moved from Dubai, because when you move to Dubai, you care a lot about your profit, and it stops you from building big things in the future, because it becomes about you feeling safe and like keeping all this money for yourself. So I moved back to the UK and I was like, right, I'm paying profit tax now. And ever since I made that move, I became way more willing to invest in infrastructure, invest in software, invest in people. And obviously, like, the thing about spending money is you only want to spend money if you know it's going to return money. And so everything that we've invested in, like everything we've taken a profit hit on, has been with the intention of building infrastructure to scale and grow. And so like, for example, like we had to hire a chief marketing officer. It's like another like 15K a month. Then we've got to build out a client success team, which is like another like 15, 20K a month. Then you've got to hire a sales manager, another like 15, 20K a month. Then you've got to have like like the calendar software, the scheduling software we're about to use is another 20K. Like, the Zap bill we have, the hires, like all of these things, like your expenses become insane because it's like, and what happens is your margins shrink. But this is the thing. This is the cool thing about these businesses. And this is the cool thing about InfoScale is your margins will shrink in the short term, but all of your costs become fixed. And so what you need to basically do is all the money you spend should be for one of two reasons, either to get more customers or increase the lifetime value of your existing customers. Because those are the only two ways that we can get a return on investment in the info space. Now, obviously, like there's going to be law shit and operations shit that doesn't have direct ROI, but you need that to run the company legally and properly and profitably. But really, every single dollar that I've spent over the last year on my company, like the reason that our profit months are lower is A, because we're trying to get, like we're building infrastructure to get more customers, and B, we're building infrastructure to make more money from our customers. And so the cool thing is what you can do is you can eventually have like fixed costs, and once it all pays off, which we're basically starting to see that happen now, really after, honestly, like we've been doing this like 9 months. 9 months of like, you get used to making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in pure profit, especially tax-free. And then you have to go to this state where you're not making anywhere near that because you're spending it all on infrastructure in the company. It's different if you're being an idiot and spending it on cars and lifestyle and stuff. But when it's going into like back into the business, like it actually makes considerable sense, right? And so like we're now spending, for example, like 200K a month on ads. And like before, like we were like, oh, we don't need to do that. But now that we've got all this infrastructure, like you have to feed it, right? And so basically the point I'm making is like profit is like great and everything. And these businesses, info businesses should be run for profit, but there comes a very critical point in every info entrepreneur's career. And you can see it really clearly in people's YouTube videos. You can see it in their personal brands and stuff on where their priorities lie. And neither's right or wrong. It just depends on what you want. You've got some guys that they just want to get rich and they want to stay rich. And then you've got the lunatic risk takers. And so you've got the guys that make like, a couple $100 grand a month profit. And they make a couple $100 grand, like, even a year would be insane, but they make a couple of million a year profit, right? They buy real estate for themselves personally. They invest, and they want to build their own personal pot, if that makes sense. They just want to get rich and like have the cars and the lifestyle, which is absolutely fine. And like honestly, credit to them because I envy sometimes that people can just do that, right? But then you've got people like myself who have this constant obsessive need to feel expansion, at least commercially, and to feel growth. And those are the people that will basically take everything they make and reinvest it. And they'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads and trying to find what works and funnels. And then they're building like my team to do this thing has literally like doubled. My ad spend's doubled. All my software costs have doubled. Like all my infrastructure costs has just skyrocketed. I'm going to need an office. Like all these things are like, but this is the thing, is it's the only way to experience that next level of growth and to play at that higher level. And the cool thing is you can still run a very, very, very profitable info business at the multi-8 figure mark. But for example, I was talking to someone who I know quite closely in the space and he makes like, I think like 2.5 mil a month in the info space. And he's got a whole infrastructure, all this stuff. And he's someone that I'm like modeling off and like I've learned a lot from him. And I asked him directly with a one-on-one call, and I asked him, I was like, if you didn't have your back-end products and if you didn't have the infrastructure to support upsells and stuff, would you be profitable? And he laughed. He was like, no, I'd lose so much money. And like the point is that like it's all about the back-end. It's all about the infrastructure in the back-end to get people to buy again. But then in order to do that, you need client success teams. You need done-for-you solutions. You need like, and it's a whole thing. And so basically the point I'm making here is you will hit this point where you get to decide, like, do you want to just keep running this business, selling like 1 or 2 products and having a very lean team, trying to do it organically and just basically like making like, just limiting your growth, but like making a few mil a year in profit, which is a very noble goal and it's still an insane thing to do correctly, right? Or do you want to push on to that 2 mil, 3 mil a month and build like something like, it's like you're building a fucking corporation. Like you need like 40, 50 man teams. You need like in-person shit. Like it gets crazy. And like it's been building that out has been very stressful, and you start to actually learn how to do a business properly. You start to actually learn like how to run a real company. And I'm not saying that like info companies aren't real companies, but my point here is like, I see like the info space in this game as a sandbox. It's risk-free. You're not going to lose any money. Like you're not going to get sued. Like you can basically play for free. And all the like info business it's a serious business, a real bit, but it's not really like you're not going to build like make $1 billion thing out of it unless you're like Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone. But even then, those guys, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? And so in this space, your business is like a sandbox. Like you're able to take insane risks, learn mental skills. Like the amount I've learned more, I've become a better entrepreneur. Even though my profit margin's gone down because I'm intentionally investing, I've become a better entrepreneur in the last year than I did in the previous 10 combined. And that's because I'm actually doing like the investing thing now, and I'm learning how to build all these teams. I'm learning how to build all this infrastructure. I'm learning how to for example, let me give you an example. We have, I think, 35 individual spreadsheets for tracking sales alone. Like we've got on our sales operations team, we've got three or four people, and their entire job is basically team management, but more importantly, we've got an entire like person dedicated to sales data, and we pay him like a proper salary, and he's like incentivized accordingly. Like, and it's like, you don't need that if you're just running like a 5-man, 6-man sales team. But if you want to get to the point where you've got like, 12, 15 reps, and they're all doing upsells, and they've got like, you've got the CRM that's managed. It's chaos, but it's fine. But you just have to know, like, I'm just making this video to kind of explain like my philosophy on it. It's like, I know that I can get to $1 million a month profit, but in order to do that, I need to be at like, 2.5 million a month revenue, right? So your margin is going to be like 40% or so, 33%, and you can still get to $1 million a month profit. Like that's the goal. But maybe even 2 million a month, like 50% margins, but the infrastructure has to be really tight. And it's just really interesting because like I know that even though that I'm not making as much money as I was in terms of profit, like we're still there revenue wise, if that makes sense. The business hasn't shrunk. We're just spending more on infrastructure and ads and like marketing and team and stuff. And I know that even though in the short term profit's taking a hit, the long term, like I'm going to be in this game for like 60 years, the business game, right? I'm going to be playing the entrepreneurship game for like 60 years. I'm not even like 15% of my way through my entrepreneurial journey yet. And I know that by using this business, like what I'm doing is using this business as a sandbox, as a playground to learn so many skills. And to like, you just, because here's the thing is when you start spending like 200 grand a month on ads, and you start spending 200 grand a month on infrastructure and another 100 grand on team and like you have to start running events and stuff, like you become fucking ruthless because suddenly like you're actually playing risk. It's like you're playing to like there's something to lose here now, and the skills you develop and the sharpness of your entrepreneurial talent just tenfold increases. Like you just become like this different human. Yeah, it's interesting, and I wanted to kind of explain it because a lot of people don't see it. So yeah, subscribe, and if you need help getting clients, there's a link in the description.